to the pre-show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 146, The Second Sunset. We'll have a brief overview what happened this week and what we did in Destiny this week. And then we get into likes and dislikes. We have a half-baked take. We have lore. Gambling Corner is only an update because it's hard to get all three of us playing at the same time as of right now because not a whole lot going on in Destiny at the moment. So, because of that, we are doing half-baked take, and the title of this, The Second Sunset, is along the basis of that. So, what's going on with you
Hi,
all
guys.
this week?
Hello.
Hello.
I'm here. I'm on call this weekend.
Mm.
Not looking forward to that a whole lot. We got the Kates starting the SEC playoff. Or not the playoffs, but starting off SEC play this week, Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So looking forward to that. My wife got the Christmas stuff down, did it when I was at work one day, just dominated it. So almost back to normal, back to routine.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of missed the holiday stuff. Had a good holiday. Good time. Looking forward to next year. I do have, I'll let Chad say hello. I'm going to grab something real fast here.
Hello. He's not fast enough. I mean, trying to save most of my stuff for the pod, but good to see you peoples. Hopefully everyone was safe for the new year. Any dumb decisions were hopefully made in your 20s. So if you're still in your 20s, it's allowed. And yeah, hopefully everybody is doing good. I've been, by the way, Jared.
Go ahead.
Wait. Okay.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. After I made that book rec to your wife, I've been expecting to get on comms with her just because we play and she's on comms with you, and I expected to hop on. I haven't yet. And so I haven't been able to talk to her. I don't know if she's watching this currently. She might be, which would be great. But I made that suggestion because that's the thing I've been reading, and I caught up on it on the train, like when I was going up north. The most recent chapters came out, and I read it. And it's great. But it's also the currently the longest work of English fiction. The amount that I've read in the last year is the equivalent of 9 Harry Potter series.
It's like 1 through 7 or whatever, just so I understand.
Yes, correct. If you read the entire series back to back to back to back. The first book is the shortest one. It's only equivalent to the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So it's not bad. But it's equivalent. Actually, it's more than the original trilogy, the Lord of the Rings, the one book. But it's great. It's fantastic. Writing's excellent. Characters are wonderful. The world's amazing. So I highly recommend it, but it's a commitment.
So instead of like breaking it up into 4 books or 5 books, the author just like, I'm just gonna make the longest book possible.
The author is wild. No, they are books.
It's a selling point.
They were just being obnoxious.
Yeah.
No, the writer's just crazy, dude. They put out chapters when they're writing. It's bi-weekly, and they're basically writing 3 to 4 novels a month. It's unreal.
But it's more than one person writing.
No, it's
Yeah,
one
it is.
person.
Don't believe
Okay. You want you
that. Dude, James
when you do
Patterson
that,
and
you get
Stephen King can't output that much.
no, they can't. You're right, they cannot.
So what I wanted to show here, I've kept this around. It's kind of like a souvenir. Tiffany and I, we've started calling it number 5. So I just want to show here.
Yeah. Clean break.
That's magic right there.
Notice, it's a 3-legged chair. Now, I'm sure that most people would think that I was the one that broke the chair. However, that's the chair that Jared broke at the Christmas party. Yeah. Which he said was the 5th chair that he's broken in his life, which just blows my mind because as a man of size and just pure ass power, I only broke 3 chairs in my life. So how you've made it to 5, I'll never understand.
Yeah, mainly just like, I just need a throne that can hold me. All these puny chairs just doesn't work for me.
Yeah. I'll try to get the Iron Throne for next year, and that's just for you.
Whenever we went couch shopping, I just like, it's steel frame or nothing. Like if you get like a wood frame, it ain't happening.
Who was I talking to? Somebody. It might have been. Was Aaron here when you broke the chair, Middleton?
Yeah.
Or it was Justin. And Justin he said one of the funniest things I've ever heard. He said, is Jared just a lot more dense than he looks? Which, for whatever reason, struck me as very funny.
Yeah.
So. But no, that chair is, I know, because that chair was given to me by my parents. So it has to be at least 20 years old. So there's been, between my friends and myself, there's been a lot of poundage on that chair over the years.
Yeah.
Oh, you meant LBs, not.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
My brain went to the naughty place. I'm sorry, but then it went. You know what?
That's what happens.
I think he's just talking about
that's what happens
sheer
on the West
growth
Coast.
within that chair.
That's what happens on the West Coast. They just pollute your brain with that naughtiness.
It's true. That LA air who gets you.
Yeah. And like this chair was like, I wasn't sitting it in a weird way. I was literally sitting straight up in the chair, and it just gave out. I wasn't moving. I wasn't sitting back. Like I've sitting it for like, I wasn't doing nothing. Like I was just saying.
No poundage in that chair.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody have squiggles in the Zencaster? I don't see any. I think I see mine. There's mine.
I see you guys.
Yeah, we're all good.
I don't see any of mine. Okay, then we're good.
I wanna be the very best.
Oh, she was in the comments, or she was listening.
Oh, she was.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Listen, I recommended a 758-page basketball book to her, and she's like, I don't think I'm gonna get to that. Ryan,
I did the basic average math, and like the series as of where it is currently ends up being about 27,000 pages. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's
dude, that has to be a lot of detail about what the trees and grass looks like.
Nope.
Like, there's no way. There's
Nope.
Is this like the you don't watch movies, do you? Do you ever watch Boyhood?
No.
Has Ethan Hawke in it? No. Where they filmed like the same act. The thought of it was like filming a kid from like age 8 to 22 or whatever, or 25, and they filmed like the same boy and like Ethan Hawke and his wife. They filmed like the same group of people like for 11 years, like for a week or two at a time to like make this movie. Pretty good. It was up for like Best Picture like probably 5 or 6 years ago. So I just wonder if it's like the book equivalent of that, just an entire life. How many quests do these people go on?
It's a lot of preparing for the quest.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff.
All right. Pull this over here. All right. And clicking the button. Eyes up, Guardians. We are live for episode 146 of the Conqueror's Corner podcast. Today is Thursday, January the 4th. I am the Destiny bad boy, not Ryan Fox, and I'm here with my fire team, who all of you CCBs know by now. Jared?
Hey everyone, so Iron Banner, what's going on this week? So we have to give a brief update on that. And we actually got some story this week. Maybe might be the last story for a while, or we might get the conclusion next week. We'll find out.
And the chronicler himself, Chad Ocero.
Getting ready to hit absolutely everything over the next couple of months. After I'm willing to bet they're gonna leave us on a cliffhanger next week, and I'm gonna be sad about it. So we're gonna be hitting lots of raids and dungeons and everything else.
And as a reminder, if you're watching us on YouTube or Twitch live, thank you. But don't forget that you can take us on the road via Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast services. Make sure you subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, click the bell, turn on notifications, yada, yada, yada. Follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Send us Bungie friend request so we can play games together. Still no TWID. I believe it's like January 18th is when they're coming back, allegedly. It'll probably be written by AI by that time, though. But before we get into all that, let's listen to the intro music, which is brought to you by everybody's favorite Link, who you can find on Twitter at LinkOfTimeG. 135. The 1 week I didn't do over under. Hit it exactly.
Spot on. We would have both been wrong. 135. Two. School Wiggly. I got squiggles this time.
Mic check 1 2. Squiggle check. Clicking the button. Wow, Link. Awesome job. Thank you so much. Jared?
All right, everyone. It's Iron Banner week again, and it is Iron Banner Eruption. That's whenever you're trying to stack up a kill streak or assist streak to get, erupted. Once you get the 5, you become an icon on the map, and anybody's gunning for you. But if you also take anybody out, you also get that +5 to your team score. So it can really go, in a big up and down, like a roller coaster of a scoring sometimes in this game. However, depending on the map and the players you match with, some people just like to sit in the back of the map with scout rifles and just gradually get up their assists because, they just plink somebody once and let the other people run around and go get the kills. So a lot of a slower gameplay, this game type, one that I'm not a fan of. And they definitely need to make some changes to moving forward because they got to make people move in some way. That people are just sitting back at the back of the map with scout rifles, like, can't stand it.
Yeah, we need more. We need more game types, man.
Mm-hmm.
I know you and I have been dabbling in the Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But some of those game types they're pretty fun, and like I think of some of the Gears of War game types, some of the old Halo game types, because every once in a while we'll go on a little Infinite spree there.
Mhm.
But they need to just rip those off. I mean, everybody else rips everything else off. So we got to get some more stuff.
Yeah, so like it was a game like their Call of Duty version of domination. You know, those two zones that you need to go capture, but you have limited lives to do so. And so as the people defending, like that sounds pretty good. And like say you had it to where you had 20 lives in Destiny on a couple of the
Yep.
bigger maps. Like that would actually give more purpose to the bigger maps to try to go and take those zones. You need a little bit more housing. For instance, some of these Destiny maps, not just completely open fields that you're trying to go capture a point in, because they're just going to sit back with scout rifles, you know.
But if they make those like 4v4 instead of 6v6, like theoretically you could go together and because usually most maps are like 3 laners, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it could work. Like 4v4 with 20 lives, that gives each player 5 lives. Keep it on a short timer. That way people can't just sit back and camp and pad KD.
Yeah.
Like KD doesn't count in those,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion.
All right. This week we also Crow volunteered as tribute to go take the last wish and go into the portal. You know, of course, Mara is not too happy about this. No, she already lost her brother once and doesn't want to lose him again. You know, they actually, you know, didn't totally lampshade it to where they can't send us because who else could they send there after us if we go in there and fail? So,
Nobody.
yeah.
We're the best.
Yep. I mean, they definitely, from sending Crow instead of us, obviously, the connection that Mara and Aldrin or Crow have, obviously was created with the power of light and dark at the same time, which is how the Awoken were created. So that connection going beyond boundaries of either makes sense. The whole story of Riga and the birds and them always knowing where the other is or what's happening to the other one. Story wise, it makes the most logical sense. I mean, normally you would want to send your Master Chief in and just have him wreck shop and then open the door from the other end and be like, hey guys, I did the thing. But I mean, this is more interesting, you know, because with the cutscene from that we got during the reveal or whatever, it shows a fire team of 3 sitting there waiting to go in. Now, what they said during that reveal stream was that the not the black heart, but within the traveler is being created by us as we go in, which makes you wonder. Crow goes in first. And Cade 6 is our guide. So when Crow goes in, is Cade on his mind? And Cade comes into existence because of Crow? There's lots of stuff implications that happen because Crow's going in ahead of us. So I wonder, oh man, too many thoughts. We'll have to see what happens next week. Because like, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. So like,
I think Holiday might show up maybe.
Nah, she dead.
But she could show up in the same logic, yeah.
Didn't Crow
based
love
on
her
the
though?
same the throw. Well, yeah, but so Crow didn't know Cade, but knows the ramifications of his previous life on Cade because he got his memories back. And Cade is connected to his previous life as Aldrin. So there's more of a connection with Cade and Crow and his past than there is with Holiday. So I think for his character, and then there is lore that I think we've read already on here. where he's talking to Mara as they're looking out into the stars or whatever. And he said that he wishes he could tell Crickade that not that he's sorry or that, but that he regrets what happened. And he says goodbye to Mara, and then he leaves, and Mara looks back at him and says, "Oh, blank mine."
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of thoughts that are like,
He actually made
That
that
was-
wish with Riven.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was Riven. That was Amara.
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe Cade's just back because of the wish.
Yeah.
I don't know. Lots of things. Which would mean if it's because of a wish, then Holiday isn't back because he didn't make a wish about that.
We also did did it again, the legend version of the Wishkeeper.
Ooh.
We got that done. This is not, a terrible mission. The playthrough, especially with the fire team of 3 that knows what they're doing on Legend. That boss room can make you, a couple hiccups in there, but nothing too much usually you can't handle. And it's not as good as Presage, but not as bad as Vexcalibur mission. So,
Woof. God, that Vexcalibur, the chicken run in the middle is the
Mhm.
one that gets you.
mm.
That's the thing that kills you every time, is that stupid middle boss. You know, the one where the pit opens up in the middle and you have to run in before the chickens get you?
Yeah.
That, because once they get to the edge, you still have like 4 seconds you have to survive in the pit while they're raining down pain on top of you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good. That whole middle boss thing is just a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
The boss isn't bad.
Yeah.
It's that middle section is just the worst.
Blinding grenade launchers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll
you
explain
gotta
how
have
I'll explain how I know that.
Or
That was
bubble.
part of my dislike.
Bubble every time.
So, thanks guys.
Okay, we get there.
Appreciate that.
All right. Again, there's no TWID this week. The TWID next scheduled TWID is January 18th. And now it takes us to Fox telling us how we all got started.
So, approximately 147 weeks ago, I'm like, hey, you guys want to start a podcast about Destiny? And it was pretty much met with immediate yeses, which was pretty good for me as far as that goes. Because as somebody that drives a lot for their job, there wasn't a lot of the old Destiny podcasts like Crucible Radio and or Destiny Guardian Radio and the Crucible, all those were kind of going away, dying down. And, I was kind of, there's some other big ones that didn't seem like they were much interested in the game anymore. And I was like, hey, why don't we do this? It could be fun. Make sure we all stay bros and stuff. So everybody agrees. And I'm like, I'll do the computery part and get it together and handle that. And quickly realized I opened my mouth without knowing what I was doing. So did some searching, some watching on the YouTubes, found Zencaster, which has been a godsend for this podcast and for us for sure. So just basically Zencaster makes everything super easy. It's a one-stop shop. You pop in, you're able to record your podcast. You can do it through your web browser. You get high quality right away, studio quality sound, up to 4K video with your guest, multi-layered backup. So if something goes wrong in the middle, you have another backup. It records locally and uploads that, so you get the best quality sound. That way, even if you have, there's been times the internet's went out in the middle of the show and we've been able to recover and make it work. So as somebody that listens to a lot of podcasts, if the audio is terrible, I turn it off pretty much immediately. This helps you sound your best. Their post-production process, you sound buttery smooth. Removes the ums and the ahs, and you're recording awkward pauses to where nobody knows if it's their turn to talk or your turn to talk. It takes about 20 or 30 podcasts under your belt before you kind of pick up on the other person's like nuances of when they're finished talking or not. And sometimes people like me will start talking again just to mess with the other two. But this makes all that sound good, keeps everybody's volume at the consistent level so you don't have one person really loud, one person really quiet. Also reduces the background noise if you're like me and have children running around in the background. So the best part is where it's all in one. You can record the podcast and you can also host the podcast. They go through and basically store the podcast on their servers. So Spotify, iTunes, and all those other podcast services can come through and pick it up with a link. So long story short, one stop, all done. You're not recording on this and then uploading to this and then going here and going there, all in one. So if you go to zencastr.com, zencastr.com/pricing, use our offer code DestinyCCPod, you will get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. And we just want you guys to have that experience. We want to hear your podcast and, send us a link. We'll listen to it. We'll shout it out. It's time to get out there and share your story. So zencastr.com/pricing, zencastr.com/pricing, and use our code DestinyCCPod. And Chad, tell them what it looks like whenever they make it to that website.
Yeah, so once you put in that link, as Ryan just said, it'll actually take you to a pricing menu for them. It'll show you all their options, all the pricing, and it'll show you just them side by side right next to each other, so you can see the breakdown and see what each plan has in stock for you. Now, once you keep scrolling down to the bottom, it actually has a little place where you can put in the code Destiny CC Pod, and then right there on that same menu, it changes and adjusts the pricing per the code. So you don't have to go through, put in any credit card information. You don't have to click through a bunch of menus, selecting things and waiting to the end. You see it right there, plain as day, super clear and really easy.
So there will be a special link that you can follow that will be in the podcast description on Spotify, iTunes, and those services, as well as the YouTube and Twitch information there. But if you don't get that, zencastr.com/pricing, code DestinyCCPod. Share your story. Let us know about it. We would love to hear it. Now that takes us to our 3 likes and dislikes. I'll start with a like. Overall, listen, as Jared mentioned earlier, we're not all on at the same times. I've been the one with the weird playtimes this season, just due to life things. And Fire Team Finder. I know that I can get better quality people using the Destiny 2 LFG Discord server. I've used that for years. It's pretty quick. But I'm trying to be able to provide feedback on the Fire Team Finder to make it better. So I've been using it, and overall, it is very much a net positive. I do want to give a little bit of feedback. I know that everybody at Bungie is listening to this podcast live right now on their breaks. Listen, the stuff that you guys have beside the player tag, such as like Guardian rank, commendation score, like that stuff does not matter. It does not matter. This is very simple. Just put the people's triumph score on there. If they have a high triumph score, they've played the game a long time, and or they've done the more difficult content, and the people that play the game the longest are typically the best at the game, or at a higher bracket of skill than somebody that can do a list of chores and make it to like Guardian rank 9. And, and they live in a strike playlist and have a 2000 commendation score. Like, basically, there's times that like me being a Guardian rank 5 isn't working out real well for me in these. I'm usually the first one kicked.
Mm-hmm.
And because that mixed in with the fact that I don't play playlist activities, I don't have a high commendation score. So like the two things that people see I look like I suck. So that's kind of frustrating.
Well,
Go ahead, Chad.
it's pretty simple for you just to claim those guardian ranks.
I'm not doing it. No.
'Cause
No.
you have
'Cause
most of it
Like
done.
if it
Man, the
becomes
principle
if it
right there.
becomes if it becomes worse, I'll just go back to the Discord server
Mm.
where it wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
Like I understand the idea of having something there, like a quick glance, like you can see. But I was also the guy that in Destiny 1 used Grimoire score to determine if people were good, as opposed to like power level or anything like that.
My like is gonna be I finished the season pass finally.
Jealous.
So 102 now. Bailey coming in, getting it done before the season ended. Oh wait, never mind. I got like 4 more months. Yeah. So I'm just glad to have it done. So like, now I can put that trash ornament on Dragon's Breath that they try to make it look like a dragon scale. So it's on there now.
I hadn't looked at it yet, but I will now.
Yeah, it gives it the Ahamkara jaw look on the sides.
Uh-uh.
It would have been
Oh,
better if they
man.
just made it look like Ribbon's mouth at the end than what they did.
Or if they put like the Dreamy City like made it out of the Dreamy City gems, but had like
Mm.
in it like the instead of having that weird design where it's like the fractals or whatever, having like the Ahamkara like anatomy on the side would have been super dope.
Yeah.
And then the sight would be floating there instead.
Oh, yeah.
Because like the sight's always out when you have the rocket. It doesn't like unfold or do anything. Like you don't zoom in on it. It's just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
I got that season rank done too this week. As soon as my homies logged in, I just cashed a bunch of challenges, but it feels good being done for the season. And that made me think, it's like, oh yeah, no, the next season isn't for a little bit. And I'm like, June, right? What month is June?
Mm-hmm.
It's January.
Yeah.
It just turned to January, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
We're gonna be getting some people some seals, my guys.
Yeah,
Some
it's
divinities. We're gonna
it's
fire
seal
up
season.
divinitizers again.
SEAL
All right,
season.
Yeah.
We're going to be fucking SEAL Team 6, SEAL Team 3 right here, going through and getting SEALs.
Yeah, which is fine. So my like is the progression for the exotic mission. Last week I noticed behind Tyrannus's skeleton, there was what looked like a Taken City kind of bridge platform behind him, and I was like, that's weird. That I don't feel like that was there previously, and I'm like, whatever. It's just a platform. Maybe there's supposed to be a chest on it in the future. Whatever. Not really thinking. This week, I'm sitting there looking at what red borders I got out of the chest. And I can't remember if it was Jared or Ryan. Which one of you was it? Jared was like, hey, there's platforms back here. And I go, what? And I look back there. I'm like, oh, there's more platforms. I was like, okay. Because last week, that first bridge showed up. And so this week, 2 more ship platforms showed up. Same Taken City platform stuff in the Black Garden. So I'm like, okay, something's happening here. Mr. Jared, near the end of our time in there while we're theory crafting, he's on his hunter, so he decides, hey, you know what? I'm gonna throw on some strand. I think I can grab my grappling hook up there. And he does, and we see more Taken City or more Dreaming City style architecture up there, and what looks like a Dreaming City door portal. So we know where we're headed, and that's just more progression on story for this mission, and I like that. I like that little, just sneaking it in there a little bit. So that's cool. So if you're, I guess we don't know if it's connected to doing the catalyst. We don't know if it's just being released every week, assuming you're doing the catalyst. I haven't played it again on the normal mode, because what if it's not in the normal mode? It's only in the legendary. I don't know. I'll have to play it on legendary to help some people get through their first runs. But no, I like that. I like those little snippets and little hints of things that just get added in quietly somewhere. I think that's cool. But my dislike for this season, since we're pretty much done with it, is what week is this? 6?
Mm-hmm.
Are we in week 6? Okay. So 6 out of 10 for seasonal challenges. Week 6 is when they decide to drop a clear 30 runs of Riven's Lair or the coil. And I'm like,
What?
you're kidding me. And it's not the coil, it's like each individual like route
Oh, each
counts
lap?
as one. So if you do a full coil, it counts as 4, but like that's one coil is 4.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, I'm
Yeah.
already right next to a second reset on Riven.
Dude, that's like 6 full runs of that. That's like 6 hours.
Yeah, I'm like, do they really are trying to force me to play this again?
It's like 40 to 45 minutes a
Dude,
completed
it's
run.
horrible. And then they obviously there's an Iron Banner one that released this week too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
Yep.
I got that seal done, dog. I got that gilded. I'm like, I think I'm gonna have to play trials. I'm gonna have to play competitive so I can ignore these 2 challenges and do those instead. Because I don't want to do that.
You could probably talk me into some competitive. I've got my knees have been getting like greased up a little bit in Call of Duty. The bag and they're getting oiled up. So
Okay.
All right, my dislike is
Yep.
going to be the eruption game type of Iron Banner. Already mentioned this, but I thought they need to totally reverse it to where if you stay in a certain area for too long, you will erupt. So that's the biggest
that'd be
change.
sweet.
Yeah, so you gotta be moving around. So that's what I hope to see.
Yeah, you're right. Just you're on fire and you have to run around to put the fire out.
Yep.
If not, that'd be pretty cool. This got hinted at earlier, but the Vex Caliber mission on, I don't think it's called Prestige difficulty anymore, but whatever the hard
Legend or
version of it
whatever.
is.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think it was like Saturday morning. I woke up at like 6 a.m. for some reason and decided I tried to get you guys to play Friday night or whatever night. I was like, once you guys come on, we'll knock this mission out real fast because I only needed one more to get like the final catalyst. And you guys are like, that shit sucks. We're never doing that ever again. So decided to fire team find it. And I know this is hard to believe, but Saturday morning at 6 a.m. East Coast time, wasn't a real poppin' activity on there. So the way the math worked, it seemed like there were about 8 total people trying to do it. And every time I would join one, I was the first one kicked. Like 4 people would join. And then because I'm a rank 5, I was always the first gone. So eventually I hooked up with another guy, and I think I put him on Twitter or something. I think I took a picture of it. But we make it all the way to the first boss. A guy has to leave to go make breakfast or something. So he opens Fire Team Finder back up to grab like a third person. And whenever he does that, it takes us out of the mission, back to orbit to gather the fire team. And then puts us back in the very beginning of that mission because there are no checkpoints or anything like that. So definitely don't do that. So after that, we started it over and we made it to the part where you have to get the symbols and like progress through those 3 rooms and like shoot the symbols off the column. There's just a bunch of ads, a bunch of like the chicken, just Chad calls them. And we have one guy that's just blowing every life that we have. He gets mad and quits. So me and this other guy, and I was like, well, I don't think I have any more in me. I'm going to get off here. And he's like, oh, it's okay. Thanks for sticking around. I've been trying to do this for the last month and a half, trying to get this done for my first seal, my first title. And I just felt terrible. So I couldn't leave him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why don't you and I just finish it out together? So 2-man was way easier than 3-man on that. So do that. Ended up taking us, keep in mind, this undead underscore Joker took us 112 minutes and 40 seconds. Now, keep in mind that doesn't include the first time that we made it to the first boss. But it does include all the times that little wimpy hunter would run out in the middle of everything and just get absolutely shit pumped and die and take all of our revives up. So good luck if you're going through that. I would probably get you a group of people, probably one other person, because that first boss was a lot more difficult with 3 than it was with 2.
All right, that's it for 3 likes and 3 dislikes this week. Now it's time for just a quick update here on Gambling Corner.
Gambling Corner, I really think this upcoming week is the week that is going to happen. We have 3 outstanding bets, and we have one of them is a GM bet. One is a Crota raid bet, and the other is the first to get the Warlord's Ruin exotic, which none of you got this week. I didn't get it on my run. Okay, so we got all 3 of those outstanding. Since all of those are outstanding, we're not going to make another one. So, but I do think that we're kind of at the point, especially this exotic mission, this Starcrossed, has really taken over like the times that we get to play together. We're kind of focusing on that since it's like the hotness right now. So that way we can provide you, our favorite listeners of any podcast, award-winning listeners, what you guys hear. And we just want to keep up with that for you guys.
You're trying to keep it from turning into Vex Caliber.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, now it's time for Half Baked Take. So this week, it's from me. And if you're somebody that really likes to hold on to the weapons and cares about what they keep in the vault, just be prepared here. So, or if you want a fan of the sun setting back in like season 10 and 11. So it's time for the sunset number 2. And loot needs to be meaningful again. So flat out, every legendary weapon, every legendary armor piece will vanish. It will go away. Story-wise, the Vex have corrupted all vaults and the Cryptarchs, and they just screwed up our data transfer system to where we have lost everything. Our crafted weapons, you can still become crafted. However, there's only going to be 2 perks to choose from in columns 3 and 4. Mainly like you have like a PvP perk and then you have like a PvE perk. And later on down through here, every 6 months that can be rotated out. So the goal here for crafted weapons is have like a B to B plus tier weapon. So and just for record, like S tier's top, A tier, B tier, C tier, D and below is pretty much instant shard. So now, when you go to get new legendary weapons, it's very important that people can go and have changes at random rolls, because now the random rolls are how you're going to get the A tier and S tier weapons. So just like back in the sundial days, after you do some activities, you do some of the harder missions of sundial or harder missions of nightfalls, the chest at the end, will you be able to select the loot that you want. So if you're like, all right, I need a good helmet, I'm going to select 3 helmets. Or I need a good hand cannon, I'm selecting that hand cannon 3 times to try to get the roll that you want. Targeted loot system, but the random rolls are higher rewarding because they're better than the generic crafted weapon that you can go get. So seasonal activities and then strikes, just regular crucible, regular gambit. these weapons are going to be like B- to potentially an A- tier weapon. Your dungeon trials, Iron Banner, raids, Nightfalls. Those are the weapons that you can get those A tier and S tier weapons to drop for you. Armor stat points. It's going to be totally reworked to where, like, if your helmet has 60 points on it, you get to put those 60 points on any. You get to distribute those points in any way you want in your build. So if you want to put 20 on mobility, 20 on resilience, and 20 on recovery, and leave the rest at 0, you can do that. But you'll have 4 other pieces to choose and do that. So that's kind of will be a reason that, like, this armor is going to go away after 6 months, and each armor piece, depending on where you get it from, will have an additional perk on it. So let's say you're running the Corrupted Nightfall, and you get a legendary armor piece to drop. You now get something that's Taken related, like you take less damage from Taken, you do increased damage to Taken. Taken's more likely to drop special ammo, more likely to drop heavy. Those are the perks that you'll get onto the armor related to the event that you did. So playlists, your stats are going to be from like in the 50s up to maybe of a 60. Dungeon, Iron Banner, Nightfalls, that's how you get the 60 to 65. And then trials and raids, that's how you get the 60s to 65 still, but you also get that +3 to anything you want, so that's basically Artifice armor at that point. A sunset is going to happen every 6 months. All yearly will go away, except for if there's a new crafted weapons that they bring along during that 6 months. There'll still be a crafted weapon the next, with just the reduced perks. But the last month before the sunset, there's going to be gauntlets to run through, and these gauntlets will reward cosmetics that you can only earn during that one time. So there's like an all black shader that came out, and it's coming out for this season's gauntlet, that's the only time that shader is ever going to be earned. It's never going to be back in the game again for you to go get. So FOMO, yes. FOMO of cosmetics need to exist. That's the reason to play games to grind. When you go to do these gauntlets, the loot that you have on you, if you fail or complete it, will be taken away. So if you're in there with a cracked out S tier legendary hand cannon and you fail or complete it, it's gone. You have to go back to your vault.
Very Tarkov-y.
Yeah. But you at this point, you spent 5 months building up your vault to have multiple ones to go choose from. So, you could load up with your buddies, like, hey, we're going for it all this time. If everybody put on the S tier loadout, we're getting through it. And then, like, eventually you're like, well, I don't have an S tier hand cannon anymore. I'll just go get the crafted one that I can always make. And just you can keep trying through the gauntlet. And, it might take more of a perfect run with not as good weapons. So that's what I want. I just want loot to be meaningful again. And this might be going pretty far to extreme, but I think this would be really fun if Destiny was played this way.
Yeah. I guess, like, it does no good to keep it, right? Because it all goes away.
Yeah.
So, whenever you say gauntlet, gauntlet was what I used last week for the my thing, the weird playlist contention thing. So when you say gauntlet, are you talking like put you up against like dungeon bosses, or what would a gauntlet look like?
So there would be a Forsaken gauntlet, right? Where you go through the Corrupted on like master difficulty Nightfall. And then after that, you go into the Shadow Throne and you're 20 light levels under. And then after that, you could you have to make your way through through the Dreaming City to some endpoint. And you only have like so much time. It's like a time trial to get there. That like taking out enemies, champions, and like getting through gates to go through the area. That's just kind of one thing of a gauntlet. And then you can have new gauntlets because of new areas, and then you can revamp, areas with different enemies and different rewards.
So would there be like a easy, normal, hard, legendary version of like the gauntlets to where like each one adds a different leg onto it or
So-
something with like rewards changing throughout that?
Yeah, the way I would see it is like if like the Forsaken Gauntlet, for this 6 month it was minus 20 light level under, right? But there's one for the EDZ and it's your at power.
Okay. That would be fun. It would be, I wonder, you would have to do it in a game. I don't think they could do it with Destiny because everybody's conditioned that the stuff you get, you have forever.
Yeah.
I think you would have to start people out of the mindset that just because you got a weapon in 2018 doesn't mean that you can use it in 2024. So,
Yeah.
but I love that idea though. That sounds really cool. Basically, you're building up for 1 month of content.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're spending 5 months to get ready for 1 month, as opposed to like what are we gonna do after we kill. I assume the witness is the raid boss in the final shape. Like why would you ever go back into that raid to chase the loot? Because what are you gonna find after the witness?
Yeah. Yep. We're just fighting ourselves in the gauntlet from your last week. Yeah. Anything for you, Chad?
What do you think, Shadow?
I think that's a whole different game. The gauntlets thing, I like it, but that's a whole different game. But I mean, the sunsetting. I have too many guns as it is. Too many. I need to do a vault cleanse, but the problem is you don't want a vault cleanse because you can still use everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sunsetting, cut that into like just the 3 things that I'm like, I've had this since day 1. I need it. This is my ride or die right here. But we don't have those in this day and age. So they just everything. And yeah, that would make it really easier to vault cleanse unless they give us unlimited vault space, then sunsetting bad. But that's not the case.
You would have some vault space, and the more you play, the more space that you get. But like a minimum 600 starting out, and eventually, like if you play more, you can get up to 750, maybe 1,000, and then that resets again after 6 months, back to 600.
I guess it would depend upon. So right now, the way Destiny's constructed, you don't really need God rules. You need God rules one day, 24-hour period a year, and like outside, I guess 2. But outside of that, as long as you have like B-roll weapons, you're fine.
Yep.
So I'm down. I'd be cool with that.
Hell, I mean, you could just make it Destiny Extraction or, whatever you want to do. Literally the same area, the same weapons, but it's just like just a different loot system.
Aren't they making an extraction already?
Yeah, but it's PvP focused. This is PvE focused.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. I think that takes us to the war. Chado, what do you got for us this week?
All right, this week is gonna be short. It's the last couple weapons from the season. Yeah, don't shake your head, no, Mr. Not Ryan Fox. And the last 3 weapons, unfortunately, 2 of them have pretty short lore tabs. The first one, Scatter Signal, the fusion rifle, is actually just a block of numbers. And once you put that into a translator, I think it was binary translator or some weird hexadecimal number nonsense, it actually translated. And it says, a churning singularity of shadow and mimicry beats again with cultivated chaos. Minds orbit its gravity to bridge communion with a voice, to move from parallel to entanglement. They dream of a dark core, contained within a timeless structure, a suspended return to the primordial. If not for this truth, why kneel? If not for this truth, why does it elude definition? Though not all agree on all agree on this. Soul is salvation. Going into the Doomed Petitioner linear fusion rifle. You were a knight, devastator of soul, ardent scholar of the bladed path. You are still taken. Nothing remains of you but the knife. You have been relinquished. The hand is severed. Wield yourself. What vows compel you? You have no vows. What drives you? You have no drive. You must take up the knife. You must take. The Appentance machine gun. Looks like a cryptarchy archive, classified encryption. IR, a core array. And every time I look up at that portal, this gnawing doubt in my mind grows bigger. MK, Mr. Exkel. Doubt is the shadow cast by wisdom. It is only by questioning that we uncover profound truths. What troubles you? I've spent centuries studying the light, mastering it. I thought I knew something. Enough. But watching the witness carve through the side of the traveler made me feel ignorant. I realized how little I actually know. The secrecy of the great machine has troubled many a Lixney. Ido has these same fears. But not you. I am reminded of the sea hunting ritual many guardians enjoy. Fishing. The guardians throw their hunting lure into the sea in faith that many creatures live there, though they cannot see beneath its surface. And standing silently on shore, they might feel helpless, for they cannot affect the sea. It is too vast and too powerful. I knew I disliked fishing for a reason. In the face of such power, we must act with patience and humility. A fish hunter should not dwell on the invisible depths of the sea. This is only a distraction. Instead, they must focus on the fish hunting itself, the feel of the line and the ebb of the tides. And that works. I am happy to stand on the shore, appreciating the beauty and the power of the sea without understanding it, without controlling it. If I have faith that, in time, the sea will reward my reverence with its abundance. The sea provides? It does, Igorakel. It does. And that's the lore. Like I said, it's going to be a short one, but definitely interesting. I don't know what night the Devastator Soul is being talked to about in the second one, but hearing the Vex say soul is salvation, that's obviously coming from the soul divisive, the one that worship the witness. And Misrax throwing some fish hunting lines out there. I'm sure Jared enjoyed that. I will from now on call him a fish hunter.
Yeah, Mithrax is probably one of the better ones out there for character wise. All right, that takes us to the mailbag. And first question here: thoughts on Wishkeeper with more time with it? As my playtime has become shorter and shorter, I feel like I play Hunter most of the time, and I don't really feel like it's doing much for me on Hunter. I wish I had a strand-centric exotic that wasn't like the helmet. The helmet that you just get like woven mail when you use your grapple grenade, which is really good, It doesn't do much with this strand bow, so I just need something else strand related to go into using this bow for me. That's like a supportive exotic to go with it.
I like it more the more I play with it because as a warlock, you don't really have many suspend options.
Mm.
So I was kind of thinking for the sake of like solo lost sectors, it could be handy to deal with like the champions, like being able to suspend like that. So I like it more than I did before, but it's still not something. It's very situational.
I've messed around with it a lot on my Titan, and the suspend is definitely neat. Using that suspend build where you're just suspending everything and getting the precision hits in order to load up on the snares is fun, but I don't know how good it's gonna end up being. I know that the suspend is unstop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so having a built-in unstoppable bow, because we have an anti-barrier one. Doesn't the void one has overload, right, with the poison
Yeah.
if you hit the perfect shot? So now we have all three, which is good, I guess. But I mean, having a weapon that just suspends is cool. It good because it sets a trap, but it's not super amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm sure they're very deathly afraid of doing, I guess. But it's neato burrito.
I kind of wish it was hold R to reload to shoot the suspend web, basically. Like I
Yeah.
like hip fire and bows, so like I don't want to always ADS, and once you get that build up, you have to ADS. So that's probably just the thing small tweak I would make. Question to you: if you had to make a wish to Riven, for what would you wish?
I don't know. That's hard. You know it's gonna backfire.
Let's see. How about no? Because yeah, that's gonna monkey paw you. She's gonna monkey paw the hell out of you. I mean, if it's something dumb, I don't think it would be monkey pawed super horribly.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess, how about like the next 10 video games that I start from scratch?
Yeah.
Even if I played them before, I forget, so it's like I'm playing them again for the first time.
But do you remember that you played them before, at least, so you know if they're good or not?
No, that's the part where she gets you, is you don't know. You don't remember if they're good or not.
Oh, that's good.
But like yeah, like imagine like you're like, okay, I'm pretty certain I would love this game. I might have liked it as a kid. But imagine playing like out of the 10, 6 of them are bangers. Like imagine being able to pick 6 games that you loved and enjoyed and look at them like, I loved this game, and being able to play them fresh from scratch right now all over again. It'd be great.
I don't know. I don't know what I would. I was thinking it'd be nice to not to have to pay taxes on all your stuff. But
Just work for
then,
the
like,
IRS, dog.
But then,
Work
like,
for the government.
United States crashes because of third world country.
right? Yeah, exactly. But like, I don't care if like, I don't care if like you have to pay taxes. I'm just talking
Yeah,
specifically about me. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the trick is, Ryan, you don't have to pay taxes, but your wife has to pay a little bit extra every time.
Right.
Or it's like you don't have to pay taxes whenever you're in jail.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so it just sends you to jail. You also get the you don't get a living wage in there, by the way. So
He's just stamping
Good luck with
license
that.
plates where he's like, at least I'm not paying taxes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get super buff.
Yeah, just come out just fit AF.
Yeah.
Prison.
I
I don't know. I don't have anything good for this.
I feel like I just want to know like who's going to win the Super Bowl this year, and then I go from there.
Yeah.
So she gives you the
It'll be-
loser in hopes that you put bets on him, and then you lose, but you're like, well, I know. I guess I knew who was gonna win.
My wish is to know who would win, so she would have to tell me that, right?
She could twist it in a way where you would. Yeah, no. I'm trying to think of a way to twist it. It's such a
She
a
could say,
binary.
like,
It's either this or
it's
this.
it's a team.
And-
It's a team from the AFC North. And then you would
no,
know if it
yeah,
was
it
Cleveland
could
or
get
Baltimore.
that big.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Or she gives you the Puppy Bowl winners.
the puppy.
It would be like the fantasy football Super Bowl champion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would be like who
Yeah,
you would get.
some random fantasy league.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
man.
show
That'd be
me your TDs is the Super Bowl winner. Number 3, what games are on your list of games to play when you're not playing Destiny until the final shape releases?
All right. So going back to my wish, Croc. God, I wish
Legend
I
of
need
the
to find an
Cabos.
emulator for that or something.
It's not as good as you think
Well,
it is. Just don't
I
ever
know
play that
it's
game
not.
again.
I know it's not.
It will
I watched
ruin
a
it for
guy
you.
do a hitless 100% run on it, and I'm like, that's good. That's all I need. I just want to watch somebody play it and listen to the music in the
Yeah.
background and be happy about it and call it a day. But the Pokemon DLC came out. I'm gonna have to beat that on my other save. I'm fairly certain that Tears of the Kingdom is not getting a master mode, which means I have to finish that game. All the side stuff. I already beat it, but I need to do the side stuff. The new cups for Mario Kart came out a little bit ago, and I need to get 3 stars on all of it.
Especially since Mario Kart 10's coming out this fall. Allegedly.
10. It wouldn't it be
As-
9 because 8 and then 8
No.
Super Plus is what
it's-
they're skipping 9.
according to the leaker, it's 10. Mario Kart X or something is what it's being called. And there's also a new 3D Mario coming out.
Oh yeah, I need to play the RPG. I have that on my Switch that I haven't done anything with yet.
To the Super Nintendo Switch.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so I do have a list of games. I want to play the Halo Infinite campaign. I've been playing Call of Duty with my wife. I've enjoyed that quite a bit. At some point, God of War Ragnarok's going to come to PC, and that will be like a day one play for me. I won't beat it on day one, but I'll purchase that at full price, which I very rarely do when it comes to video games. Final Fantasy 16 should be coming to PC fairly soon because it had a 1-year PS5 exclusivity. So haven't heard anything about that yet, but I'm hoping it comes out at least a month before June. So hopefully by May. And the hard one, that's the one that's going to be really hard for me, is going to be in February when Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 comes out, but it's a PS5 exclusive. So I do refuse to buy a PS5, but that's going to be the hardest game for me to not buy it for. So I haven't decided if I'm just going to find like a Let's Play of it and watch it or just wait until I play it. I haven't decided. I don't think I can go without knowing what happens. I don't think I can wait like a year and avoid it.
For me, purchase Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, so that's probably going to take up the majority of time outside of Destiny. If there's this game, it's called 33 Immortals. If it comes out before the final shape, I'll be playing it, mainly because I'll be playing that with my wife. But basically, you go into areas with 33 people that like randomly get matched with, and it's like it's closer to the like Diablo style, like camo angle and stuff like that, and try to work with people and like you progress through levels, taking out bosses and stuff. So if that comes out, I'll be playing it. If not, it's basically Call of Duty Destiny for a while.
All right. Question 4. If your 2 index fingers could squirt out any liquid, what liquids would you choose?
Spicy watermelon margarita.
Okay.
Cheese whiz.
Okay.
I have like, I think the answer is beer and water.
Okay.
Water, if you're ever somewhere where you don't have water,
Mm-hmm.
you can always stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to say Diet Coke and beer, because I love Diet Coke. I love Diet Coke more than water, but water is the better choice, I think.
I'm going water and crude oil, so I can just continuously make money.
God. Dude, you'd be picked up by some government agency. They'd just be
Yeah, dog.
milking you like a cow.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Here we go. This is the week somebody gets it. We're going to pick a number between 1 and 100. What do you guys say? Numbies?
28.
14.
Let's go 9. On the third roll, roll 1, roll 2, roll 3, 47. Oh, that brings us to the end of the show this week. We all suck at picking numbers.
Yeah.
Real bad. If there's some dork in here that can tell us how many weeks it should take for one of us to get it, Jared, you can probably figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
I'd appreciate it because I feel like we got to be getting close statistically to one of us hitting it by now. So remember, follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Send a spongy friend request so we can play games together. YouTube on Thursdays, Twitch on Thursdays, except this Thursday because I'm dumb and didn't hit the start streaming button on OBS. Spotify, iTunes, other podcast services, usually late Thursday night. So it should be ready for you Friday morning for your commute. I'm gonna let these other 2 guys sign off.
This week at work, we lost one of my coworkers. His name was Ted Seltzer, and he played Destiny. He played Destiny on PlayStation, and we would talk, usually about once a week. Just a quick, minute here or there, what was going on in game. He played a lot with his wife and his kids, so it's pretty saddening that happened to him. But multiple of health things stacked on top of each other, it took him. So we lost a guardian light this week. Hopefully, stay on the other side.
A little hard to follow that one.
Yeah, sorry.
But if you got any lore questions, get them coming because we got 6 months where I'm gonna have nothing. So help me out.